Guys, I'm drunk again. I celebrating my best friend's birthday, and I get some beers, some vodka, some Long Island iced tea, and yeah, it's good time. Yeah. Had to record this Paleobites patron recorded message, and I've already done one this is drunk, but I thought I'd do one again, and if we do this kind of thing over and over and over and over and over, I have a patreon.com/MatthewDonald. They can find bonus content for the podcast Paradise, where we discuss pop culture about prehistoric animals. And last month we talked about Godzilla -1, and this month we're talking about the Google Chrome. Yeah, the internet browser. I said what I said. So last month, Godzilla -1, really, really good. The Godzilla movies, they did good. Good job, Japan. You did good. And then Google Chrome, good job. I was about to say Bill Gates, but this is Microsoft. He did Edge, and no one uses Edge. The link is in the description. But you can sign up to the Patreon for your support. And have a good day.
Roar, growl, snarl, bellow.
Welcome to Paleobites, the podcast that features and preaches creatures at a leisure. My name's Matthew Donald, and each week I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week we're featuring not a creature, but
Sure.
Sure. It's Lexi Ryan. How are you?
I'll be a creature.
Yeah, you're
a creature.
That makes me think of like the mummy. It's like it's the creature.
It makes me think of creature from Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't
you
want to
would
be
think Harry
him.
Potter.
Creature hates.
That's just like remember in the mummy they called him
bloods.
the creature. You've unleashed the creature that we fed for more than
That's
3,000
true.
years.
That's true.
God, I've seen a lot of reaction channels on YouTube, and like so many people talk about how like, man, everyone in those movies is hot.
Everyone in those movies is hot. You've seen my. I don't know if you know my shirt, right?
Yeah.
My shirt that says, for anyone who is curious and loves Brendan Fraser, I have a shirt with Brendan Fraser's picture from the mummy on it, and it says, the mummy, more like the daddy.
Oh, there is a good mummy in that too.
There is a good mummy, but
like a few actually.
But it's more of like,
particularly
daddy.
the second one when she gets like the glow over.
Yeah.
So she's really hot. She's pretty hot in the first one too.
Rachel Weisz?
Yeah, Rachel Weisz.
I
She's pretty hot in the first one, but the second one, she's really hot.
I guess I've never observed. I'm always looking at him though.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Well, I mean,
Jonathan.
Yeah. You know, he's
Jonathan
got
is
something to him.
my type.
He's more.
He's-
Yeah. Although Brendan Fraser, I know the whole world kind of celebrated when he won the Oscar. No one seemed to care about the movie that he was actually in for. We were just happy to see him.
Yeah, you
like,
want to see a guy who's been let down by Hollywood for so many years.
And like he's done other stuff. We've seen like this is not a movie I'm interested in at all because it's Martin Scorsese and I'm just not really. He doesn't make movies I like. But Killers of the Flower Moon. Apparently, Brendan Fraser has a pretty big role in it. It just came out this year, and Brendan Fraser has in it. So yeah. Anyways, Brendan Fraser.
Fraser.
If you could go on an adventure with Brendan Fraser and John Hannah, I think is that actor's name who plays Jonathan.
Really?
And then a dinosaur, what would it be?
What would we do?
Yeah.
Was it with their characters from the Mummy or them?
Want to pick one?
Wait, pick
whatever suits whatever you.
Okay, so I'm going to say their characters.
Okay, so Rick and Jonathan.
So Rick and Jonathan.
Evie is
O'Connell.
at home taking care of.
Sure, it can
Alex.
be platonic. We can be platonic pals.
Yeah.
And I think it would be somewhere if we're going to, it's set in Egypt, obviously. So I feel like I would need a dinosaur.
Spinosaurus is from Egypt.
Well, it could be from there, but I'm thinking of more of a transport. Like you ride a camel, and you know how and she's riding the camel in the first movie.
Yeah.
I think I don't know what a good one to ride would be.
Okay, here we go. So, I was about to ask, have you heard of this? But of course you haven't. Have you heard of Ouranosaurus?
No, I haven't.
So Ouranosaurus.
Orano.
It is like Iguanodon. You know Iguanodon, right?
Yes.
But we thought it had like a sail on its back.
Mm-hmm.
But lately, people are starting to wonder if it's a hump.
Okay.
So
like a camel has.
Yeah.
A hump.
Now, like
do
a camel's
I sit
hump
on
is
the hump?
a camel's hump is not bone though. If you look at a camel skeleton,
Oh
it does
yeah.
not have.
It's like water.
This one it's water and food basically.
Yeah.
So it's fat and other stuff. So it's like but this would be like the bone, so it'd be a little bit hard. But like if it's a sail, you could put like a caravan.
If I can put something on it and just like,
and it's bus size, it's like
well, and also I don't want to disrespect the animal because I want to make sure you're not overworking it, putting too much weight on it. So
you'd have a herd, you have a caravan. Some of them have some supplies. Some
supplies. I can ride one potentially.
And
Rick.
I feel like they're big enough that you could fit at least 2 or 3 people on one.
Yeah.
So
I'll sit. Oh, I get to choose. I'll sit with either Rick or Jonathan.
Yeah. I don't know if I actually specified if you're in this adventure, but let's say you are.
You said if you had to go on an adventure with anybody, you did.
Well,
don't take me out.
I said right adventure, but I
don't.
No, but no. That makes it better. You go on the adventure.
Yeah. Okay. You can't dream up a fantasy like that and not invite me to it.
No, you're not in it. No, you're separate.
No, I'm there.
Okay, cool. And then you're just searching for mummies or something.
Yeah, and then, Actually, Evie dies of cholera.
Oh, God. and then you get to take Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
Or John.
No, Rick O'Connell.
Rick O'Connell, yes, of course. Let's be fair. There are dinosaur mummies. There are mummified dinosaurs.
That is super cool.
Now, they're not like mummified as in like,
like wrapped.
Yeah, like
but still,
it's by like mud and other sort of stuff.
I pictured a wrapped one, and I don't know why. Probably
they use the toilet paper or whatever.
Yeah. But that's
In fact, cool. There is one species called Borealopelta. It's an ankylosaur relative. It was mummified. It kept the mud and all that sort of stuff, and it is so well preserved. It looks like the animal is just there. Like it is crazy.
That's interesting.
Here, I'll show you a picture.
Yeah.
And the audiences, the listeners can just Google this if you want.
What are they Googling exactly?
Borealopelta. Okay, so
it kind of looks. I'm going to say a Pokemon. It looks like Sandshrew, the Pokemon.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh! It's like a scaly, flat.
Yeah,
and spiny. Like
you can see the scales and like it's
very cool.
And like through the chemical stuff, we figured out the color. So that color is correct.
The brown, this looks like a Pokemon.
Yeah. So, and the funny thing is, this color is like brownish, sort of red with a little bit of stripes, which almost implies some sort of camouflage. Why would this thing need to camouflage?
Yeah, it's got a lot. It's got a lot of hard shell and
what kind of crazy predators did have to deal with that? It still had to camouflage.
There are some dumb things in this world, and there've always been dumb things. So there's probably something before that was like, yum. Mistake. Whoops.
Yeah. So we're not talking about that, though. We're talking about another creature, one that's not quite as well preserved, but has some interesting stories behind it. We're talking about Anchisaurus.
Anchisaurus.
Yes.
That's kind of like was it Ankylosaurus?
Ankylosaurus. This is a completely different realm.
And this is This is like I know it's very different, but it sounds kind of like the abbreviated version. Oh, I'm seeing a picture now. The little arms are really awkward.
Yeah.
They're very awkward. And the tail seems like it should be going on further. Oh, that one has a longer tail.
Yeah. So
the other one had kind of it looked like a chameleon with a cut tail.
There's one, this is kind of like an older depiction of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's actually an early long neck. This is like before they started getting really big.
Okay.
Because actually the long necks. So there's 2 types of. I don't know why I feel like I have to explain so much.
No, that's good. Yeah.
So there's 2 types of dinosaurs. It's not herbivores and carnivores. It's saurischians and ornithischians, bird-hipped and lizard-hipped.
Lizard-hipped?
Hipped, yep, because the way the hips work. Now, ironically, the birds evolved from the lizard-hipped ones, not the bird-hipped ones.
Okay.
But the bird-hipped ones include all the plant-eating dinosaurs. Most plant dinosaurs includes like the long neck. No, sorry, it doesn't include long necks. It includes the stegosaurs, the duckbills, the triceratops, the ankylosaurs, other sort of ornithopods like Hypsilophodon and other stuff. Now, the saurischians includes all the theropods, all the meat eaters, including all the theropods that became plant eaters, like the Therizinosaurs from Jurassic World Dominion, the one with the claws.
Yeah.
And but it also includes the long necks. So the long necks and the theropods, the meat eaters, are very closely related. And when you look at animals like Anchisaurus, you can see why. You can see how it kind of looks like some of them could evolve to get their necks shorter and their arms shorter, but the others got their necks longer. And you can see this is more the starting point.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you had to optimize the animal we're looking at, it would make sense that the neck would get longer and that the arms would go down to the ground
because
become legs.
This was bipedal. Like this is back when long necks were bipedal. So
I can see the evolution of why they wouldn't be that anymore because it just seems like it seems like bottom heavy and like I don't know, like
Well, that's why the tail is so long. Oftentimes like a long-necked dinosaur, even the more advanced ones, they could rear up on their hind legs. And one of the reasons they could is because they could put their tails on the ground. It's called like a tripod stance.
Oh, that's funny.
So
it's like a kickstand.
Yeah. So they often do it to like bring down trees or whatever.
Okay.
Certain other
but
ones.
They can't do it for a long period. Yeah.
Well, like in Jurassic Park, now we don't think this is actually one of the ones that could do it, but the Brachiosaurus briefly does it to reach for leaves further up. But yeah, in my Megazoic books, in the final book, one of the champions is a really big, long dinosaur called Anchisaurus, and when he rears up, he has wrist-mounted blades.
Oh, very cool.
Now, he doesn't use it to like duel or anything; he uses it to puncture.
Yeah, I get that.
So they're kind of like those short blades, like Katars or from
like
India.
Wolverines.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Well, more like short and thick. Hold on. Sorry, I know I said we're not going to ramble because we don't have time. It's like these, like short and broad.
Oh yeah,
but like thick. They're big because it's a big. So like,
yeah.
So yeah,
there's a lady in Santa Clarita Diet who uses one of the. It's a show about zombies.
Oh, that's cool.
It's one of the few zombie shows that I'll watch.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's not really like.
I like the movie Zombieland.
It's not. It's not really like stereotypical zombie. I encourage it. It's gory, but it's hilarious. Santa Clarita Diet. Check it out.
I like funnier zombie stuff. So
it's very funny. It's crass and it's funny.
Nice.
And and Nathan Fillion's in it.
Oh, that's cool.
He's an ass in it.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah,
like he sounds like he could play a good ass. He's good. He's a good actor.
Oh, he's a cocky man.
Because like his cockiness can be charming, or if he wants it to, very smug.
Yes.
So hold on, let me get to Anchisaurus. Okay.
Anchisaurus. Such a cute name.
It means intermediate lizard because, like I said, it's the intermediate between the more primitive dinosaurs and the more advanced long necks. Type is a basal sauropodomorph. The early long neck dinosaurs, formerly known as prosauropods.
Okay.
Size 8 to 13 feet, just 2.5 to 4 meters long, 60 to 120 pounds, or 27 to 45 kilograms. Although some footprints found in Connecticut indicate potentially larger animals that could have reached up to 20 feet or 6 meters long.
That's way smaller than I thought. The pounds of this is slight.
Dinosaurs are so lightweight compared to mammals. Like we have much denser bones than they do.
Okay.
Like that's one of the reasons why long necks get so big. Because you know how birds kind of have hollowish bones. I think I told you this before. They have hollowish bones to help them fly.
I know this. Yeah.
Yeah. The long neck dinosaurs also had hollowish bones, but rather than use the hollow but the strength of them to fly, they use it to just way less.
Okay.
So they could be bigger but way less.
Yeah.
So
wild.
So this was an herbivore. It lived in the early Jurassic, 200 to 195 million years ago. Location, Massachusetts and Connecticut, USA. So represent.
Boston, park your car.
Yeah. All you mass holes out there.
Some clam chowder.
Yeah, of course. What's Connecticut known for?
Connecticut?
Is it for?
I don't really know. I'm going.
Is it just being rude, or I think of New Hampshire?
No, I don't think any of them is being rude. I think the Northeast is just known for being direct, which I think people.
Blunt.
By the way, they think we're in the Midwest. I had to correct
Minnesota?
so many people. No.
Oh, so that's why I thought.
No, Massachusetts people, because Minnesota is.
That's
in the
thing.
Midwest.
They confuse it with Minnesota.
But when they're like, I'll be like, I'm from Colorado, and they'll be like, and then someone will come later and be like, oh yeah, well you're from the Midwest, and I'll say, well no, I'm from Colorado. They're like, yeah.
Wait, so
and
each state thinks that each other is from the Midwest.
Some of them, like people in Boston and in New England, a good amount of them think that Colorado is Midwest. And when I tell them, like, no, Midwest is like Chicago, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, and there's more in that area as well.
Yeah.
We're Western. And
we're
not West
literally
Coast.
in the Middle West, but we're not in the mid. For some reason, the Midwest part is.
It's so weird that we don't have Mid East. We just
because of Middle East, I think.
East, but America, whatever. We could have. There's two of lots of places.
Americans are dumb.
There's two Georgias.
I saw someone trying to get a school to ban Arabic numerals because, like, we can't teach our kids Arabic numerals, not realizing that all our numerals are Arabic.
Yeah,
like our number system is from Arabic.
Yep.
So Americans are dumb. So,
this dinosaur was probably Massachusetts is a very smart state. Massachusetts.
I highly doubt this was smart because it was
that's a bummer.
It lived with some smart guys though.
Wait, why do you think it's not smart?
Because it's a long neck dinosaur and they're usually
they were dummies.
They're usually pretty dumb. They don't need to be smart. They're just big and eat.
Well, not everyone's smart, and I would guarantee you, if this one's from Massachusetts, they're a horrible driver.
Yes, that's what New Hampshire. That's what New Hampshire is also known for. New Hampshire is like the other state. The official state bird from New Hampshire is the middle finger.
Be fair, that's definitely a Boston thing. To be fair, if we have any people listening from Boston or the Boston area, I definitely. It took a long time to adjust to the driving, and I gotta say, it's not really all their fault. The road signs are very old, and the city is not a grid. It's built like spaghetti, so it's not really all their fault. You know, I would be mad too.
For sure. let's see, described in 1865 pop culture appearances. When Dinosaurs Roamed America, it's a documentary that John Goodman has narrated from 2001. And the video game Let's Build a Zoo has one with the outdated name of Amosaurus.
What was the reason for that?
I don't know, because it's maybe it's a little bit shorter, but Anchisaurus is only one letter. So
could it again have been something where it's two different individuals who discover the same thing and then they realize they consolidate?
Well, here's the thing. So the first specimens were found in a well full of gunpowder. That's one of the reasons why originally it was called Amosaurus.
Oh.
So, which sounds super dangerous. In fact, most of the original finds were destroyed or damaged by blasts from construction workers.
I will say that name is more interesting than just intermittent or
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, some certain dinosaur names they sound cool until you look at the name
and you're like, oh, this is boring.
Like speaking of the mummy and also certain dinosaurs, so Albertosaurus's species name is Sarcophagus.
Very cool.
So Albertosaurus sarcophagus.
That's very cool.
Can you guess what sarcophagus means, though?
It makes me think of esophagus. So something about long neck.
Well, what is the esophagus? What is esophagus?
Your neck.
No, what is it? What does it do, though?
It brings food to the stomach.
Food, yes. It means eater.
It means sarcophagus means eater.
It means meat eater.
Sarcophagus means meat eater.
Yeah, sarco meat.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so
when they're like putting the mummy in the sarcophagus,
I don't know why.
It shall be eating the meat.
I mean, look, eventually time does.
The mouth that eats the meat.
Yeah.
And then you close the lid, and the sarcophagus.
And then all the scarabs come in.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah, exactly.
as history shows.
Exactly. Yes.
So, no, I don't know why.
That's wild. I'm gonna have to share that fact with people. The fact that sarcophagus means meat eater.
Yeah, it does. I don't know why.
That's very cool.
Yeah. But it's one of the things where it's like, because Google was not a thing back in the day, this thing had several genus names before getting its official one due to the previous assigned names being already taken without the scientists realizing. So first it was Megadactylus.
That one is badass.
It means big finger.
Okay, but it sounds badass. Megadactylus.
Yeah, because like pterodactylus means wing finger.
Yeah.
So,
and I guess when I split it up, megadactyl makes sense, but still, anything with the word mega in it.
Yeah. Well, Megalosaurus is the first dinosaur, which means great lizard. Yeah. So
yeah,
our big lizard. But then apparently there's a lizard, a modern lizard, already has the name Megadactylus.
No.
So. Then the name Amphisaurus was decided upon, which also means intermediate lizard, and it comes from the same root word as amphibian.
Okay.
Because they're also intermediates, but from water to land.
Okay.
So, but apparently,
that makes sense.
Amphisaurus is also taken by an order of Paleozoic amphibians. So they changed it to Anchisaurus, and that has the same meaning, just spelled a little bit differently, and that's stuck ever since.
And it's cuter, Anky. It's like what you would call.
Yeah. If you look at this dinosaur,
Anchisaurus.
If you look at this dinosaur, it's like I'll show you a clip after I'm done here because in the Dinosaurs Roamed America, because it looks more like an Anchisaurus than a Megadactylus to me.
It doesn't have the personality to match with
absolutely
something as fierce as Megadactyl.
When I think of Megadactylus, I think of a giant pterosaur.
I think it's something really badass.
Yeah, and this just isn't.
Which I'll be honest, I know we haven't rated it or anything yet, but this dinosaur seems somewhat forgettable.
Yeah, I mean a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of cannon fodder back in the day, but it's mainly interesting because it's one of the very few Eastern USA dinosaurs that we have evidence for, because
so
it's just so rare to
Go
find.
Sox.
Exactly, go Sox. Well, it's also in Connecticut. Was there any teams in Connecticut?
No.
You guys gonna say it's one of the small?
Nope.
Hartford is the only city I can.
Hartford,
yeah. That's the only city I can name in Connecticut.
There's New Haven. Yeah, I only know that.
Wait, isn't there that theme park like that's on between New York and? Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of something in Maryland.
You think an action park?
There's a theme park where on one of the roller coasters, King Dakar, I think of what it is, where it goes so high up, but it's right in between where if you're up there, if you look one direction, you can see the skyline of New York City, and the other direction you can see the skyline of Philadelphia.
Oh my god, I don't know about this, but I definitely want to go to this as long as it's safe.
It's a 300-foot tall roller coaster.
As long as it's safe.
I mean, yeah, it's a roller coaster. It's safe.
Yeah.
So,
well, there are some out there that are not safe.
I forget what there is. It's somewhere. What's the states in between Philadelphia and New York?
So, okay, you're going to make me look like a fool because I now live on the East Coast. But it took me. This is coming from someone who originally thought New York was north of Massachusetts.
Yeah, well, because
it's New York.
The state of New York is, but
it's New York, and then down here is Pennsylvania.
New York City is barely.
So you have New York, and it's neighboring Connecticut's over here.
Yeah.
Then you have Massachusetts. No one can see anything that I'm gesturing,
right.
But it's on the So I believe there's parts of New York that touch Pennsylvania.
Yes, well, because that part of because the way New York City is on the very corner of the state, and so on one way it's Connecticut, and one way it's New Hampshire, I think, and And
because I drove all the way through New York to get to Boston when I moved.
so like you take those bridges, you go and you can go to 3 states in 20 minutes depending on traffic.
Oh yeah.
So
well, when I just a few weeks ago I went up to Maine, and it's an hour and a half, and I have to cross through Vermont. So you crossing through Vermont. Or do I cross through New Hampshire? One of the two. I can't forget.
Right.
I think it's New Hampshire.
One of the
I think it's New Hampshire. But you cross. So
boys.
in the past, in like an hour and a half, you're in.
Yeah, you're supposed to be in Colorado
states.
an hour and a half. You might get Colorado Springs.
Exactly. Exactly. There's tons of opportunity to travel.
Oh my goodness. But yeah. So like, I think technically, geographically, the Statue of Liberty is in New Hampshire, but it's politically in New York.
No, it wouldn't be because Manhattan is long and it's on the southern tip of New York.
Apparently, I've read like
maybe New Jersey is what you're thinking.
New Jersey is what I meant. New Jersey. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. I confuse all. Not New Hampshire, New Jersey.
Trust me. I was.
There's too many little states.
Now that I travel
up there.
a lot, because I travel to New York City probably once every 3 months now. I'm getting my bearings of the actual geography of the Northeast.
Yeah, there's too many little states up there as opposed to here.
I know.
Giant. Well, of course, think about though. Compared to like Europe, where there's tiny little countries.
But when I went over there at first, I was like, guys, where's Rhode Island? And they all laughed at me. And I remember my boss at the time was like, did you take geography? And I wanted to be like, whoa, listen.
Rhode Island is puny.
When I was in third grade, yes. And I could tell you every state and every capital of them. But now, we don't really think about Rhode Island that much.
Walking
in Colorado.
across Rhode Island might take you an hour and a half.
If you're from Rhode Island, I'm visiting Newport this spring. It's supposed to be amazing.
That's cool.
So I'm doing it.
Cool. Maybe you can ride the roller coaster wherever it is.
I'm going to find out
Philadelphia and New York City. Because they're really close together, those two cities.
Then I'll have to get to the top of it and be like...
You can only see it for a bit.
The Anchisaurus is from over here, and this one is from over here.
There are a few New York dinosaurs. I know that come to mind. The pigeon, I guess.
The pigeon, I suppose. Yes.
But it's like roller coaster, so it doesn't stop up there. You just have to keep looking up things while you're going.
Yeah.
So
I'll do it. I love a roller coaster.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, so Anchisaurus. So here's another thing, though. Its species name, Paleozealous, means much sought for.
Zealous.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because the original discoverer, his father, had been looking for this dinosaur for many years through footprints and never found it. But his son eventually found it, and so it has Anchisaurus paleozealous as its name that's stuck ever since because it was much sought for. And I think that's really sweet.
That is very sweet.
So, but it lived along the early parts of the Jurassic alongside dinosaurs like Dilophosaurus, which you've heard of from Jurassic Park, and Coelophysis caniatecati, previously known as Meganapsaurus, previously known as Centarsis. That's a long story.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know a lot of the words you just said there, but...
oh, by the way, also, Dilophosaurus was not the pushover the Jurassic Park movies depicted as with the frill and poisonous tar spit. It was so big and badass, it didn't need any of that.
Right, that's the car one, the one that... And he gets Newman in the end,
Yeah,
right?
It gets Newman. I love how everyone just calls him by his character name from another show.
Is he not Newman in that?
That's his name.
He's
in
Newman
Seinfeld.
Oh my God, I can't even... That's hilarious.
So everyone calls him Newman.
Yeah, because that's forever that actor is Newman.
All right. Well, since you gotta get going here, but there's really not much more to say about Anchisaurus. It's kind of a basic, intermediate lizard.
It's worth the knowledge. It's a good tip to Boston.
Yes.
You know?
But let's rate 1 out of 65 million. I'm gonna rate like a 15 million.
I'm gonna do. Gosh, I wish off the top of my head I knew when Boston was founded. Because
sometime in the 1700s. So 17
Well,
million.
it's not 1770. Well, it's 1776 before.
17.76 million.
Sure. We'll just say it has the Boston Tea Party. You know what? We'll do this. So the Boston Tea Party was on December 16th. And
wasn't it in 73?
So it was. We just did the 250th anniversary.
So yeah, it would be 73. Yeah.
So I'm gonna rate it. Just a 16 mil.
16
for
mil.
December 16th, Boston Tea Party.
Sounds
That's the fact I know about Boston.
I feel like this thing, it could, if not, I was going to say it could have a good tea, but probably couldn't drink it because it would hold it on its little hands and its neck could be like...
But what I'll say about it, along with my rating, is something that we got to shout when we just recently watched the reenactment from the harbor of the actual Boston Tea Party, which was, huzzah!
Oh, yes. That's what you say huzzah a lot in the text.
I do say
I've noticed that.
I love saying huzzah.
I noticed that you've done that. I think you've always done that to a point. You've done it a lot more in the last couple of years. So.
Yes. Well, I've started to embrace it because I was like, I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this week. If you want to get hold of the show, you can contact me, paleobytespod@gmail.com. Blah, 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 blah.
You can go through it if you like.
Paleobytespodcast@gmail.com. Paleobytespod on Twitter. Paleobytespodcast on Instagram. Where can they find you?
I am Lexi Tate 44 on Instagram.
If you want to see something, do you have the image of the real Plymouth Rock on your, or is that one of your stories?
I don't know where it is on my Instagram, but by the way, everybody,
It's very
Google
little.
the real Plymouth Rock.
It's very disappointing.
We are taught a lie as children in school. You think it's a cliff. You think it's the size of a car.
You think it's a mountain or
I
something.
couldn't lift it, but I got to be honest. If I had two strong friends, it's big enough for two people to lift in size alone.
It's really disappointing.
So Google,
I've heard.
if you learn anything, we'll learn about the Anchisaurus, but also educate yourself on Plymouth Rock.
Right. I have a book series on Amazon Megazoic available for print and Kindle. While there actually isn't a character that's an Anchisaurus, I do mention the species once.
Honorable mention.
Yes. It's like in a thing where like I mentioned a bunch of different dinosaur species in one part of the story. It's kind of a spoiler heavy sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's so the species is mentioned. But yeah, so and that's it for this week. Say the end of our episode of Paleo Bites. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Anyway, so long.
Glorious.